Mr. President, in the last 24 hours, we know Russia has said that they are recognizing two breakaway regions of Ukraine. And now this White House is stating that this is an invasion. That's a strong word. What went wrong here? What has the current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
Well, what went wrong was a rigged election. And what went wrong is a candidate that shouldn't be there and a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well, very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened. But here's a guy that says, I'm going to declare a big portion of Ukraine independent. He used the word independent. And we're going to go out and we're going to go in and we're going to help keep peace. You got to say that's pretty savvy. And you know what the response was from Biden? There was no response. They didn't have one for that. No, it's very sad. Very sad.
Do you think the southern border is just going to continue to deteriorate? Last year, under the Biden administration, so under your administration, you put in place Remain in Mexico. You began building
strongest border we've ever had.
And last year was the worst by the numbers, not a subjective analysis. The worst for illegal apprehensions at the border that we've ever seen since we've been counting. It's likely that this year will be worse as well. Do you think the American people have finally seen enough and know enough about what's going on at the border that they'll take action this fall in the midterms?
Yeah, absolutely, Buck. I think they know, and I think they see. And, oftentimes they say, how could this be a 50-50 party system when you look at no voter ID, defund the police, sanctuary cities, open borders where criminals are allowed to pour in, when you look at people that can't even get out of, I got it down. I wanted out of, after 21 years, I wanted out of Afghanistan. We were going to be out. I got it down to 2,000. We were getting ready to pull them out, but we were pulling them out with very great strength. We were going to keep Bagram, not because of Afghanistan. They spent billions building this base. Has the biggest and longest runways in the world. And it's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. So I was keeping that and keeping it in full force, but I was getting out of Afghanistan, and we would have gotten out with tremendous strength and dignity and power and respect. Instead, we look like we surrendered. And, we didn't lose an American soldier in Afghanistan for 18 months. I had a talk with Abdul, who's the leader. He's the current leader also. He was the leader, and now he's the current leader. And we had a very strong talk. And from the time I had that talk, not one American soldier was killed. And it was an amazing thing. Biden actually said that. He said, not an American soldier was killed in 18 months, and his people are screaming at him, well, keep going, find out something that was wrong. And he didn't do that. We were going to pull out with great strength. We were going to keep Bagram, and we were pulling out of other locations, too, where there's no reason for us to be there. They hate us. We don't particularly like them. And you look at NATO, I called it a paper tiger. I said, as soon as a problem comes up, you're going to have people that pull away. And I got them to pay $400 billion. They were all delinquent. Not all. There were 8 countries out of 28 that were paid up, including us. We were paid up. We were more than paid up. We were making up the difference. But we have 28 countries, and 8 were paid up. And you had 20 countries that were not. And I was asked a question by the president of one of the countries at a closed meeting. Does that mean, and the press goes wild over this, but does that mean that if something happened and essentially Russia, because it used to be for the Soviet Union, but Russia, it's close enough in terms of militarily, as you probably noticed this weekend. But do you mean to say you wouldn't protect us? I said, you mean you're not paid up and you want us to protect you? I said, that's right. We will not protect you if you're not paid up. You know what happened? The next day, billions of dollars flowed in.
How worried are you that the Biden administration might get dragged into the actual military conflict in Ukraine if it escalates?
Well, I'd rather see them send soldiers to our southern border. I'd rather see them in 3 weeks. You could finish it. They won't even let Texas use our material, which was all bought. It's sitting there waiting to be put up. It could have been erected in less than 3 weeks. It took 2.5 years to get started because we had to win 11 lawsuits. I'd rather see our southern border protected, but I don't like the idea he's sending a small number of troops. It's a joke compared to what the other side has. You know, he sends 3,000 troops, I heard this morning. 3,000 troops. What's that going to do except get you in trouble?